Today we're going to learn about the two main types of spatial data used in QGIS: vector data and raster data. In QGIS, these two data types can be used separately or together to perform a wide variety of GIS analyses. Let's start with vector data. Vector data represents geographic features using points, lines, polygons. For example, convenience stores or trees are represented as points. Roads and rivers are represented as lines. Buildings and land parcels are represented as polygons. In GIS, these objects are collectively called features. One of the biggest advantages of vector data is that it does not lose quality when you zoom in. That's because vector data does not store an image. Instead, it stores instructions such as where to place each point, which points should be connected to create a line, and which boundaries define a polygon. Since the data is stored as geometric shapes, it remains sharp no matter how much you zoom in. Another important feature of vector data is that each feature can store additional information. This information is called an attribute. For example, a city boundary polygon might contain attributes such as the city name, its area, and its population. These attributes are managed in a table called the attribute table. Because vector data combines geographic locations with attribute information, it is one of the most commonly used data types in GIS. Vector data is available in several file formats. Some of the most common are Shapefile, GeoPackage. Shapefile has been the standard vector format for many years. However, a shapefile actually consists of multiple files. For example, SHP, SHX, DBF must all be kept together. This can make file management a little inconvenient. GeoPackage, on the other hand, stores everything in a single file. Because of this, it has become increasingly popular in recent years. QGIS can easily read and work with both of these vector formats. Now let's move on to raster data. Raster data represents geographic information using a grid of small square cells. Each individual cell is called a pixel or cell. Every cell stores a numeric value. For example, an aerial photograph or satellite image stores color values, while an elevation dataset stores ground elevation. Unlike vector data, which represents features with points, lines, and polygons, raster data represents a map using a large collection of cells. One of the biggest strengths of raster data is that it is excellent for representing images and continuously changing phenomena. Common examples include aerial photographs, satellite imagery, digital elevation models, temperature and precipitation maps. These are typically stored as raster data. Because raster data is stored as a grid of cells, it behaves much like an image. When you zoom in too far, individual cells become visible, making the image appear pixelated. This happens because the size of each cell is fixed. The size of a cell is referred to as its resolution. Higher resolution raster data contains smaller cells, allowing for more detailed representation. However, higher resolution also results in larger file sizes. Some common raster file formats include GeoTIFF, JPEG, PNG. Among these, GeoTIFF is one of the most widely used formats in GIS because it stores both image data and geographic location information. In QGIS, raster datasets such as aerial photographs, satellite imagery, and elevation models can easily be combined with vector data for analysis. Today we learn the differences between vector data and raster data. Understanding these two data types is one of the first steps toward mastering GIS. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.